Mic check yours.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Never Alone podcast with me, your host and friend, hopefully, Naledi Manjum, and thank you for joining me on today's episode 282. I feel like I made a mistake somewhere, and then I had to fix it, but I didn't do a good job at fixing it. But welcome back to another episode, the pod. We actually have a topic. We're actually not going to speak nonsense. Well, that's not 100% true. We actually have somewhat of a topic today that I want to speak about and just like expand on and just like, explore this little thing together. Ow. Sorry. I feel like for some reason when I was doing this, I was like, have I not done this before? I feel like I've done this episode before, but we're doing it again, I think. I'm not sure, but I literally have a pimple on the back of my tongue. Not even like the back of my tongue, like the back side of my tongue. So I know it's there, but I don't feel it, but I can feel it. You know what I mean? I just put it now and it's painful. But welcome back to another episode. Thank you for joining me for today's episode. If you are new, if you have not seen anything or have like, who the heck is this random girl? Hi, welcome to the pod. My name is Naledi and this is the podcast. I'm your host. I've always been your host and I'm so happy to be your host. And welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. I'm excited. I'm actually excited. I'm busy doing laundry. Kind of. I went to dry my thing, but it obviously, school is back, so everyone is back. So the laundry room is so full that there wasn't even like an open dryer. So I went in there and I saw, oh, there's an open one there like in the corner in the back. And I put my clothes in there already, but the door was broken. So I was like, what the heck? So I literally stood there, put on the thing, and I stood there with my arm against the door for like 5 minutes. Let it dry for 5 minutes, and then I was like, let me just record. And then when I'm done recording, I'm gonna go back and stand there for like 10 minutes maybe while editing this podcast. So you have to think like that sometimes. To kill two birds with one stone. But other than that, not doing much. As it's Sunday afternoon. What was I say? I actually was making bread. Now I'm having a bit of an issue with making bread. So, excuse me, I made bread a couple weeks ago. Not even a couple weeks ago, I would say like 2 weeks ago. And it didn't turn out amazing. It was edible, but something was wrong. Like my bread didn't rise and I was so confused. And then I figured out why it didn't rise, and it was because I was using a different yeast. I'm used to using instant. This pimple on my tongue. I'm used to using instant yeast. So you just put it in with the dry stuff. So I bake bread with, flour, sugar, salt, and then yeast. But the yeast that I bought was active dry yeast. So you have to activate the yeast. But I didn't do that. I just like put it in like instant yeast. So the thing didn't rise and I was so mad. But we made do. We did what we could, and it was not bad. Like it wasn't awful, but it was just like my bread isn't rising. And now I made bread this afternoon, but something was off. Like when I activated the yeast, it wasn't giving activated, and I was like, "What is going on?" I was like, "Whatever." And I just put it in, and I was kneading, and it's such a mission to knead. If you are watching, like my knuckles are like white, and they were full of dough. From kneading. And then my dough was like tearing, and I was like, why is it breaking? And I was just getting very frustrated, and I just like finished, and then I put it and I covered it. So in about like a couple of hours, we'll see if it rises or not. But that's a little bit frustrating. But other than that, all is good in the neighborhood. I'm having a good time. Life is good. My hair is getting a bit long, if you can see. Obviously, it's not like long, but for me, it's long. And I was gonna cut it today, but then I was like, no, I'll cut it tomorrow. I feel like tomorrow I'll have a bit more time. So yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back to the episode. Soft chicken moment. How are we doing? I hope you're well. Hope you're happy. Hope you're healthy. And I hope that you are taking care of yourself today as you should. And I hope you have a beautiful and a gorgeous day today. Hope you had fun. Hope you did something you enjoyed. And just hope you have a good time. But if you're didn't go so swell. Happens to the best of us, and that's okay. You know, the sun will rise again tomorrow. We go again tomorrow with good energy, positive mindset, good attitude, because that's what we do. We keep showing up. And yeah, once again, thank you for joining me for another episode. So, as I said, there is a topic for today's episode, but we have to talk about something first. So, hold on. Basically, this is so sad. Like, this is actually very sad, and I don't know why it's so sad to me. Anyway, I finished PLL yesterday. Yeah, I finished PLL yesterday in the morning. And this is tough because I feel like this show has become like, and I know I'm aware that I'm late to the train. Like, it's literally been, when did it end? I want to say 2017 or 2018 or 2016 even, but I want to say 2017. It's been like 6 years since the show ended, and I'm only finishing the show now. So I know I'm late to the train, but I just love this show. And I wrote here somewhere, because I wanted to speak about it a little bit. Like, I'm really trying to not make this a PLL episode, because just because but I want to speak about it a little bit because I wrote here somewhere. Where did I write? I wrote here, oh, something about like, I love these people, I love the show so much, and I can't explain it because I know it's like a drama show. It's very like, you know, young teen-esque type beat, and at this grown age, I'm like obsessed with the show and love it, whatever. But I just like, I can't explain why I'm obsessed with the show and the people in the show and the characters and the story and the actors as well. But I just do. And it was such a weird thing yesterday where, because I think the day before Friday, because we haven't had practice, well, we had practice, but it was really weird because it's been snowing like crazy. So then the roads are just like, you can't drive, and we have to drive to where we want to play. So it's just like a lot of canceling. So I had like, my days were open. So I think that one day I watched like 6 episodes, just like after one another. I had a whole marathon. But then I got to a point where I was like, wait, I need to save this. So I watched the last 2 episodes the next day in the morning. And I was like, dang, this is actually so, you know, sad that I'm going to finish the show now. Because as I said, it's been like this thing that I've just been constantly watching for like a year or so. And I'm like, what am I going to watch? Like, what am I going to watch now? Every night. What am I going to watch? And you could just say, watch nothing, go to bed early. No, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I just want to speak about it a little bit. The season finale was an hour and 28. I was like, whoa. I was really surprised, but also really happy that they made it that long. I was like, an hour and 28, because each episode is like 42 minutes, which is like so good. But I have a lot of thoughts. You know, some things I'm super happy with, some things I'm not, that are kind of unsettling. But whatever, you know. I would say good show. I'm happy that like everyone got a happy ever after, kind of, you know. Arya and Ezra getting married, Caleb and Spencer being on good terms, Caleb and Hannah being married in the most perfect way for them, I think. Who else? Allison and Emily. I'm a bit like mixed on that, but at the end of the day, I am happy for them. I'm, believe it or not, happy for Allison. That I feel like in the last couple of episodes of season 7, she, for the first time probably ever, was honest, you know, with herself, I think, which is super unexpected, especially with Paige. Honest with herself about a lot of things, and honest with Emily. And I just feel bad for Emily a little bit, but also really happy for her in some ways. So I'm happy that they got their happy ending and they have children. So good for them. Who else? Spencer and Toby look like they're gonna be, fine or whatever. But let me talk about Spencer for a second. I call it the Spencer situation. I was a little bit, it's kind of, I don't know what the word is, but it's kind of unsettling, but like annoying and just not disturbing, like, because for me, I was thinking like the end was a lot. Like there was, in like the last episode, so many new things were revealed and concluded, which kind of bothered me a bit because I wish they'd have like hinted at it a little bit. Maybe some genius might have found out that Spencer had like a identical twin, but there was no indication that could have been a possibility at all. I mean, at least in the last 4 episodes, throw that somewhere. But I felt like they did all of that in the end. Like, when, I think it was Toby and someone else brought it up, was like, what if Spencer is, like, not the only one? I was like, how did they get to that conclusion so quickly? Like, how did Toby figure out so quickly that Spencer could be a twin and that Spencer's not Spencer? Like, what? And you could say, well, Toby knows Spencer, whatever. But I just, like, I really wish they would have, like, built that up a little bit, because it was, like, I was shooketh that, because there was no, as I said, no indication that Spencer had an identical twin, or that Mary Drake had, oh, wait, was there? See, now I'm confused. No. Huh? It's so confusing. But then again, all of that, like, a lot of information was revealed in the last episode, which I wish maybe they did maybe in the second last, but like, just like, lead us into it and make the audience think that, maybe it's Spencer Trump, but like, I had no whatsoever. Anyway, and the thing that bothered me about that was that the fact that, like, the moments Spencer, aka Alex Drake, had with Toby, that bothered me a bit, because I really wished that it was Spencer. But then this is where the lines get a little bit blurred, because I'm even now can't remember what happened, but there was a moment where Mona hit Spencer on the head, and then Spencer got captured, whatever. But this Alex Drake girl has been playing around with everyone for quite some time, it looks like. Or maybe just with Toby, it looks like. And now I was thinking when I was watching this episode, like, firstly, how long has Spencer been in there? Did she just get in there? Or do they want us to think she just got in there? Or has she been there for a while? And has Alex Drake been posing as Spencer for who knows how long? Or has Alex Drake and Spencer just been, like, around the whole time? And they just, like, miss each other. But it bothered me, like, there was a scene where Spencer, aka Alex Drake, asks to kiss Toby one more time before he left. And I feel like that was a very important moment, in a weird way, of, like, that there'll always be something there between these two. But the thought that wasn't Spencer and that's Alex Drake really bothers me. Like, it actually bothers me. And also other moments when Toby and Spencer, Gorgeous Moss, aka Alex Drake, were having their moments, maybe at Toby's barn or something, I don't know, and maybe at the hotel. But I like to think that there was, when they had a moment in the hotel, I like to think that would be Spencer. But then again, I literally don't know. Like, I actually don't know. Which kind of bothers me. But, because there was times I feel like Toby would say something about inviting Spencer and she'd be super confused. And then that's where things start to connect, of like, oh, Spencer is not aware of, like, what the heck is going on, because Alex Drake has been the one, flirting with Toby and stuff like that. But obviously there's feelings there. But that bothers me. That bothers me a little bit, But the end where Toby was like, had to think which one was Spencer. And it was like, I think Toby asked what his favorite poem was in the book, and she said And I was like, oh, look at them go. Look at them go. So that was also one thing. I was just like, there's just a lot of information in the last episode. That was like, but honestly, shout out Arya. I feel like Arya was an MVP in a way, but also like she had a moment. She had a moment where she went dark, and I was like, what the heck? No, but in terms of being patient, like I was saying this like the last few episodes when Ezra was busy with Nicole, she was there. She was patient. She was understanding, and I was like, wow. You know, Ezra does not deserve Arya, bro. You know what I mean? But everything ended up well, and you know, worked out for in the end. So yeah, I did cry. I feel like when at the end of the wedding, they were walking. It's like this beautiful shot of all of them just walking, and something they were saying something about like they were just talking, and then the Arya was saying something, and she said, you know, guys, I'm only going away for 3 weeks. Why are you crying? Why are we crying? And they all just looked at each other, and I was like, dang, like this is rough. And Alicent obviously goes, I don't know, but it just feels like the end of something. Did you say era? I don't remember her saying it, but she said something along the lines of, this just feels like the end of something, you know. And then they all hugged and embraced, and I was like I actually started to tear up a little bit. And it's like, it doesn't make sense to me, because this isn't like a deep show. Obviously there's like, if I look back on certain themes in the show, it's pretty deep, and you know, yeah, it's deep in some moments, but at the end of the day, it is like a drama, teenage drama type thing, you know, girls in high school, and then they are adults but still doing high school things, you know, like it's not that serious, like it's not that deep, but obviously there are themes in there. And I'm like, damn, I'm actually gonna miss this show. Like, I'm actually gonna miss this show. And I'm super like hesitant to watch the spin-offs. Like, there's The Perfectionists, there's the new one, Original Sin. Like, I don't know, I just don't like, I want my Pretty Little Liars to be this original one. And maybe in a couple years I'll look back, but it's too soon. It's too soon right now to look to other stuff. I'm gonna, you know, dwell on this for quite some time, watch some interviews behind the scenes. Like yesterday I was watching a lot of behind the scenes interviews, because I didn't watch it because I wanted to avoid spoilers most. So that's why for that. But I'm just like gonna continue watching behind the scenes, and I even went to the length of following them on Instagram. Now I don't follow I don't follow a lot of actors. I only follow people that I like, and you know, just people that I like, and I like them, you know. So I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, now that I finished PLL, and I literally don't know what to do with my life. I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. Anyway, so we'll find something. I watched Percy Jackson yesterday. I watched a movie, The Boys in the Boat, which I might talk about after the topic of today. But yeah, it was nice. And, I wanted to say this quickly, because I remember the last episode I told you, but I didn't say it like correctly, I don't think, but I'm gonna say it properly. Now. So it's basically like how I feel about each of them. Alicent I didn't put on because I just didn't. So I'm gonna read you this. So it's like Pretty Little Liars, PLL, little page. So for Spencer / Troyan, I said, I'm in love / obsessed with her. Check. Arya / Lucy, I always want to give her a hug and protect her at all costs. Check. Hannah / Ashley, I love, in all caps, her and just want to be her friend. Check. And Emily / Shay, I want to be, all caps, her. I want to be her. So yeah, and I said I love this show. Now that I've finished it, I don't know what to do with my life. Slay. Anyway, that is all. I feel like I've spoken way too much. Like, I've literally spent 20 minutes on PLL. And I only said I'm gonna do it a little bit. But yeah, good show. You gotta love it. Like, you gotta love it. So today's topic, learning to let go. When I was thinking about this, or when I wrote it, I was like, this sounds so deep. Like, learning to let go. You know, and I was like, and I tried to think of another way of saying it, but I was like, this makes sense. Like, it makes sense, but it's also not that deep, but it's also kind of deep. But learning to let go, and this stemmed from something that happened a week ago or a couple weeks ago, I don't know. So basically, long story short, I played a practice set. If you don't know, I'm a tennis player, played a practice set with my teammate. I lost the set, and it didn't really get to me, but at the same time, it got to me a little bit, in a way. And basically, as I said in the early episodes, I'm really trying to focus on being process oriented and progress oriented, and not like result based and, you know, accolades and stuff like that, and just focusing on the process, because I feel like that's where that's where like the real magic happens. But like, just really focusing on the process, and that things take time, and I have to trust the work that I'm doing, even though it's not going to look good a lot of the time. It's not going to be good or perfect or whatever, but just realizing it is a process, whatever. And that's kind of what helped me. That mindset is what helped me go through this thing, because I lost the set, and it wasn't like I lost the set. It wasn't like that person beat me. It was like I lost it. What I mean by that is that I made all the mistakes. I was making, maybe my decision making was questionable, or I just made a lot of mistakes, and it just wasn't like, it wasn't gelling, like it wasn't working. And that happens, you know. And I obviously don't expect everything to be, you know, smooth sailing or anything, but it was, obviously, it's not like I'm gonna be like, yeah, I lost, you know, but it is what it is. And basically where I'm going with this is, later that day, I was on Instagram and I saw this reel, and it was of this lady. I can't recall if it was an old event or a recent event, but it was this video of this older woman, and basically a tornado had just happened, and it kind of, well, it just like destroyed her whole neighborhood, her whole like area, her house, everything was just like, and you look at the background, there is nothing, you know, like nothing. And this older woman is just like talking to these like reporters or whatever, and she's saying like, I can't find my dog, you know, and she's like, I just want my dog, I can't find my dog, I've had him for so amount of years, and she's just like super sad, and she's literally lost everything at this point. And then, long story short, they find the dog and whatever. Basically, my takeaway from this was that, oh snap, like, here I am kind of sulking about losing one practice set, and thinking to an extent like, oh my word, I suck, like everything is over, my life is just like the worst. Not to that far, but you know what I mean, like I was in that very, not negative headspace, but I was getting there in a way. And I'm seeing this video, and I was like, basically what this taught me was that there are much bigger problems and issues in the world than me losing a practice set on a Tuesday afternoon. And it just made me like think of like, this person has literally lost their neighborhood, their house, everything, and she's just looking for her dog, and she has every reason to be like thinking the world's against her, you know, everything sucks, her life sucks or whatever, but she didn't give that like, you know, energy or attitude. And here I am, like, I just lost one set, which didn't really, at its most basic level, mean anything. Like, it really doesn't mean anything if you think about it. in the grand scheme of things. And I'm thinking, oh my word, like, whoa. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. When I think about that in the comparison, I'm like, oh my word, this is so stupid. This is so dumb. And I'm just thinking there are much bigger problems in the world than me losing a practice set on a Tuesday afternoon. And that doesn't invalidate how I feel about this thing. Obviously, to an extent, I was disappointed and upset with myself and how I played, but you know what I mean? Does that make sense? And I think this episode of learning to let go is how I interpreted, at least in this scenario, was like, you know, just like, because I don't think, like, sorry, my back hurts so bad. Like, moping about this thing is not serving me in any way, in any shape or form. Like, I'm fine now. You know, it's like, I don't even know how to articulate how I feel about this, but I guess trying to not let, you know, minute things affect me in such a big way. Because when I look at it from, like, a bird's eye view, it's like, oh, this is so like tiny, like this is a very small little thing. And then again, not invalidating how I feel about it, but just like the thing itself, it's not that deep, is what I'm trying to say. And learning to kind of acknowledge that and move forward, you know, in the same way. Because I could have, like, and that happened a little bit, like I lost a set and I felt a bit weird, like I felt like I couldn't play as well as I did a couple days ago. But that's what happens. You're not going to play like the same. It's going to go up and down, up and down. You hope that those ups and downs aren't as like frequent as, you know, a lot, I guess. But it happens. Like you have those moments, and I'm just trying to learn to let go of those like little losses a little bit. Obviously learning from them, but letting them go at the same time. And as I said, what helps me, at least, is having that like process mindset. Does that make sense? Like thinking that this is a part of the process, like this thing that happened is gonna help you, even though at this point in time you don't think so. It is gonna help you in whatever way, and trusting that and having confidence in that and the process that you're going through. Because even me, like when I'm going through like a hard time, I'm like, this kind of sucks. You know, this isn't like, you know, I'm trying to trust the process. I'm trying to, be like process oriented, but it's like hard. Like, I'm like, like this is tough. But that's just like, no one said it was going to be easy. So learning to let go for me looks like acknowledging something, but not letting it get to you. You know, the actual thing. Like, I can't think of another example really, but so I'm just trying to let go of that a little bit. I've kind of let go of it now because it's over. It's over, so it's like, what am I gonna benefit from that now? You know what I mean? Like, I've already thought about it a little bit, but I've moved on. Like, I've moved on, and I think that's what I'm trying to get better at, is moving on and moving forward the same way I did before this tragic thing happened. Well, it's not tragic, but this little, you know, thing that happened to me that was maybe not 100% positive. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know what I was trying to say in terms of this episode, but I just hope that it makes somewhat a little bit of sense. Learning to let go. And I know that sounds way deeper than whatever, but I think even something like that, you know, comparing my little situation with this huge thing that happened to this lady and being like, oh snap. I mean, that helps me, at least, to let go of something that happened to me that feels so big. But if you actually look at it from a different like point of view, it's like, oh, that's just like a moment, and then you just move on, you know? So that video shifted my perspective in many ways about a lot of things, and it kind of like, it helps me a little bit, because I can get so wrapped up in this thing that I'm doing and think like, this is everything, if this thing doesn't go well, like I'm gonna die, and like, it's the end of the world. But if you look at it like from a different point of view, it's like, not really. That's not really true. But I think it's important to have that balance, because obviously when you're so fixated on something, you're passionate about, like, it obviously, like, I care. I mean, it means you care about something and you want to do well, you want to do your best, you want to perform, which is not a bad thing. So, but I do think it's important, for me at least, to have that balance of, like, this is everything, so I'm so fixated on it and concentrated and focused, but at the same time realizing, it's not everything. It's not, you won't die if you don't do this thing, if you don't win, but obviously you want to win. Then again, it's about balance, I think. And I'm just trying to find that balance, and I think that is important in this whole thing of learning to let go. When to let go, when to, hold on to something that you feel you need to hold on to, and just finding that, balance and distinguishing the difference, I guess. I don't know. What am I saying? But that's what I'm trying to learn. I think I'm getting better. Well, I like to think I'm getting better at it compared to maybe last year or a couple of years ago. It's a process. That's just what this is. Is life just a huge process? Is that what's going on here? Full of ups and downs. I guess so. I need the bathroom. I know that was pretty random, but I need the bathroom. I think I'm gonna end this episode, to be honest, because I don't really have a lot to say. But I just wanted to talk about that here. And I think for me, articulating something and speaking about it helps me kind of make sense of it in my brain, because I was thinking about this thing a lot, but it felt all like scrambled in my head. So me speaking about it to myself as well and to whoever's listening, it helps a little bit. So I hope what I said made a little bit of sense. I don't know if it did. Did I go up? Sorry. Yeah, I did. I'm on the second floor. Hope it made a little bit of sense. I was gonna phone my mom or someone today. I might still do that, actually, because I realized that I haven't phoned, like, family in a little bit. Like, I've messaged them here, there, nyana, whatever, but I haven't phoned them, like, in quite some time. And I guess that's because I've been, like, sleeping. I've been sleeping, waking up at 4 in the morning, and then coming back, and then going to class, and then coming back and sleeping again. That's kind of been the cycle lately. So I'll probably phone my mom today-ish. What's the time? It's like 11 o'clock there. We'll see if she's awake. If not, I'll phone her tomorrow, because I won't be able to phone her a lot during the week. Well, I can, but I'm just like, what are we gonna say to each other? What I was gonna say, because we're playing our first match this weekend. Season starts. We play on Friday and then we play again on Sunday, I'm pretty sure. So that's exciting. It's cool. I can't believe, like, it's almost the end of January. Right? I know. It's literally the 21st of January. And I'm like, what the heck? But honestly, I'm not mad. Anyway, that's it for today's episode. What am I going to do this afternoon? Let me think. Actually, I have, like, this long to-do list on my phone. It had laundry, it had doing this, recording this, promoing this and posting this and all this stuff, reading and doing a lecture, doing my homework by this evening. I'm, like, thinking if I want to go to study hall today. I'm probably not going to go to study hall today, thinking about it now, because I can just go tomorrow and then the next day. Or the day after. But yeah. I'm probably gonna watch a movie. Oh, I watched The Boys in the Boat. Now, let me talk about this. So basically, I spoke about this a while ago. I think when I watched The Marvels, that obviously with ads and whatever and trailers playing, there was a trailer about The Boys in the Boat. And this was the first time I'm pretty sure I've ever cried in a trailer. I know, a trailer, I cried. So I was like, I really need to watch this movie. So I finally got around and watched it yesterday. And I didn't cry in the movie. And I wrote, because I'm on, okay, if you don't know, 2024 goal is to watch 100 movies. So I'm tracking that via Letterboxd. And I like to write, well, I don't write like thought out reviews. I just write whatever that comes to my mind about the movie, I guess. But this one, I think I wrote something like this. There was no like, well, it was like story wise. I think it was a good movie and explaining the journey these boys went on to win the Olympic, whatever. But like, and this sounds so bad. I didn't feel like there was a lot of heart in the movie. There probably was a lot of heart, like in between the lines, if you really looked for them, like between the boys and the bonding and whatever. But there was nothing like, it didn't feel like there was a moment where, I don't know, maybe it was when he, what was this guy's name? Joe, when he got kicked out of the boat because his head was somewhere else. I don't know. But there wasn't a moment, like a moment for me where I felt, oh, this is like, I'm gonna like cry worthy maybe, or sad. But it was definitely inspiring. Then again, the story was good. But it just didn't like, I don't know, I felt like there was something missing. But everything else was fine, so I enjoyed that. Nice little 2-hour watch. As I said, I watched Percy Jackson. What else am I gonna watch? I want to watch a movie today, but I don't know what movie I'm gonna watch today. So, figure that out. I'll figure that out. But for now, I am gonna do my laundry. I'm not gonna fold my laundry today. No. No, that's not happening. I'm gonna just like take it out of the dryer and put it in, do it tomorrow, because I don't want to. Yeah, that's all I have today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed. And I hope you come back. I need to think now, because there might only be one episode next week, because on Sunday I won't be here. But we'll figure it out. We'll play it by ear, as we do. But it'll probably only be one episode, knowing me. Yeah, so if you made it this far into the episode, you already know that you are a real one. I appreciate you. I'm so very grateful and thankful for you and your support if you're doing. If you'd like to support the pod, which I would really appreciate, how may you do so, you may ask? It's a great question. You can follow the pod on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a rating, a review. Let me know what you like, what you didn't like, what you want to see more of. I'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you, and maybe, hopefully, start a conversation. You can also follow the pod, on Instagram at NeverLearnPod. I post there pretty occasionally, not as, daily as the winter break bonanza, but I post there when I can. Have a good time over there. So I would appreciate if you can follow the pod on on Instagram. And same thing goes on the Twitter of it all, so yeah. I don't know what to do now. I don't know what to say. Anyway, mwah, mwah. Hugs and kisses all around, always. And I will see you on the next one.